The greatest concern about the push toward nuclear power today is that it is being put in the context of solving the problems of climate change. And the public is sometimes told that nuclear power is somehow a magic bullet.
We need reliable electricity for the 21st century, but we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can have both. Nuclear, the clean air energy.
When you get that kind of pressure behind nuclear power, you get pressure on the regulators to take shortcuts on safety. You get pressure on the economic regulators to assign the risks to the customers. You get pressure to overlook the alternatives that might provide as much or more of the solution at lower risks of both a safety and an economic sort. And you really are sort of recreating the climate of the 1970s.
Good evening. The world has never known a day quite like today. The potential is there for the ultimate risk of a meltdown at the 3 Mile Island atomic power plant outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But a nuclear safety group said that radiation inside the plant is at 8 times the deadly level, so strong that after passing through a 3-foot thick concrete wall, it can be measured a mile away.
There are a host of lessons to be learned from 3 Mile Island, and it's true that there are those in the industry who say that really it was all good news, everything worked, but it certainly wasn't good news to the financial community, which saw a billion-dollar asset turn into a $2 billion cleanup job in the space of about 90 minutes by a group of NRC licensed operators who were no better or worse than any others. And that lesson is one of the ones that's really kept nuclear power out of the picture, new nuclear power out of the picture for the U.S. for 3 decades.
The EPR, a new Framatome ANP nuclear reactor, was designed by Framatome and Siemens in close cooperation with Électricité de France and the major German utilities. An economically competitive reactor combining enhanced safety and operating conditions with greater environmental protection, the EPR will provide benefits of the most recent and proven nuclear technologies.
There's a reactor under construction in Finland. It is well over budget, built by the French. And the French took is taking a bath on the project because they agreed to build it for a fixed amount and underestimated the difficulty doing so. What they have said is that they underestimated the supply chain difficulties, including Finnish regulatory issues, including the ability of contractors to build to specifications that were acceptable to regulators, including the availability of skilled labor. They started construction before they completed design because it takes a lot of money to complete the design before you actually start construction. And that's an old story. It's obviously being repeated even though we have a so-called standardized design. So that's what the trade press reports. And currently they're planning to eat $700 million to $1 billion.
The investor community has lost confidence in the ability of utilities to control costs on nuclear construction. It's been the Achilles heel for the industry, is that you have both very long lead times, and often plants took 2x, 3 times as long to build.
One area of concern is concrete at the Watts Bar nuclear power plant near Knoxville. A recent report obtained by ABC News concluded that there had been inadequate concrete control. In some cases, the concrete used in the reactor and containment buildings was less than half the strength required.
You know, they planned to build them in 8 years. I think the last plant that actually went online, Watts Bar at the Tennessee Valley Authority took 26 years to build. Diablo Canyon started in construction the same time as Rancho Seco, but didn't get into operation till the mid-1980s. So there's a loss of confidence by the people who are putting in the money and expect to earn a return on their money, both on the ability to complete the plants in the time frame and to control the costs. I think that's the key reason why you haven't seen any nuclear plants being ordered by utilities, even with all of the loan guarantees and the benefits now being provided by the federal government. Still no new orders in the U.S.
An investment in nuclear power is not just made by a utility company. It is made by investors, it's made by ratepayers, but there's also an investment that society makes for the decommissioning of the plant, the waste products that get transferred to the next generation. And so it is not a commitment that we should be taking lightly.